What is going on, everyone? Welcome to today's News Tonight, episode 77. Yeah, it's Wednesday. I'm here hosting on a Wednesday. As you all know, Ash was up in Northern California, where I'm from, visiting his parents, and so he came in hot today, quite literally, just off the plane into TNT. So we planned for me to host. He'll be hosting Friday in my stead. As you can see, though, we are joined by a very special guest, one of our own today.
Yo.
Vash, how's it going, man? How are you?
It's awesome. I'm so glad to be here, guys. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like how we just went over a little bit before show. It was just random, spur of the moment, kind of like, hey, you know what? Maybe it'll work out. And so there was a huge announcement that I'm very, very attached to. With we'll get into it, of course. And I'm just glad that I'm here, and I'm glad you guys had a spot for me, and I appreciate everything you guys do.
Hey, well, thank you. We appreciate you coming in, especially on such short notice. And you're wearing one of the objectively best shirts ever.
You didn't. I don't even show you the back, but it's got like the Travis Strikes Again like logo in the back with his the concept art or whatever.
Oh, nice.
Let's go.
That's cool because it's a nice thing we have in common. I'm also wearing one of the objectively best shirts.
Oh yeah,
I gotta say,
it's really funny, Steve. You're missing out because I just happened to decide on this shirt today too.
My shirt has specific meaning today, and some of y'all will find out in about 47 minutes why. But anyway, without getting too far into specifics, as you can tell, I'm joined as always by my co-founders in Good Vibes Gaming, Ash Paulson in the upper left, Derek Bittner in the upper right. Before we get into today's news, a little bit of housekeeping. I want to get a little serious on you for a sec. Over the last couple of days, I have come to find out that our former colleague from Game Explain, Tris Valbuena, lost their home in a tragic house fire, which is, as far as I know, as of the taping of today's show, is caused by arson. So just a terrible set of circumstances. I've reached out to Tris. I've verified that they are safe. They and their partner are okay, and that's what matters the most. But if you could head over to twitter.com/TuneTris, you can find out what the latest is on that situation. I know that they're looking at launching a GoFundMe to help them recover a lifetime of possessions that they've lost. I'm glad they're safe. I'm glad that they are well, and that they are, they've found shelter, because I mean, it's the middle of a pandemic and they lost their home in the worst possible way. But they will be launching a campaign. Ditto M, I believe their stuff is gone. I don't have all the full details. I just reached out to them this morning when I found out, to ask them if they were okay and if their partner was okay, and that's the latest info I have. But
all he said on Twitter so far is that it's likely that he lost all his possession, or they lost all their possessions.
I had seen that they said that they were going to return when they were allowed to kind of go through the wreckage, as it were, and see if they could recover anything. But it's it's a horrible situation, and like I said, they could use your support right now. So if you can, even if it's just kind words of encouragement or whatever you can offer, please show them your support. They absolutely deserve it. I wouldn't wish anything like this on anyone. I just wanted to let, because I know there's a lot of folks here that are fans of them, so please show them your love and support. If there's anything you can do, please do it.
Tris is a genuinely wonderful human being. Just they are a wonderful person. So please, anything you can do, sending good vibes, supporting their GoFundMe if and when it launches, anything you all can do, we would really appreciate it. We just want to help them get back on their feet as much as possible. I can't imagine what that must be like to go through. So sending you all the best, Tris. We are all sending you all our best.
Yeah, everyone here at GVG is pulling for you, and if there's anything we can do, like I mentioned to you, please let us know. Because we will do all we can to support you in your time of need. Moving on to a little bit happier piece of housekeeping. I apologize for starting the show heavy, but that's the kind of thing I want to get out of the way first.
Definitely.
So if a couple other things happened. I was originally going to do this long-ass breakdown of Dragon Ball Super Chapter 71. That's not happening because Fidel, my resident Dragon Ball hype guy, is not here. It's a really good chapter. Go check it out. We'll have more on that front, as our patrons know, probably in the coming months. But the other thing, Sega, this isn't a story, but they opened up applications for the PSO2 New Genesis Beta. That is on PC, so if you have the Xbox Insider app on your PC and you want to play with me, I will be in the beta. Sega sent me an invitation for it.
Wow.
So I will be playing
Very
that
cool.
live here on GVG probably sometime on May 14th. So if you want to play with me, sign up. Let me know on Discord or in my Twitter DMs or wherever. Send me a smoke signal because I will be playing with members of the community exclusively if you're interested. So that's that. That's everything we have before the show out of the way, and we have a whole ton of news to discuss today.
I'm trying to turn us into a Final Fantasy 14 channel, and you're bringing
Yes.
PSO into this. How dare you?
Yes.
Listen,
How
man.
I still
dare
need-
you?
Hey, I'm playing. I've been playing 14 for about 6 years, and I'm so hyped for PSO2
Nice.
New Genesis. I'm definitely gonna be there ship 2 if there is a ship 2. I don't know, but
Heck
I'm
yeah.
gonna be. Yeah.
I still need to show the world my FF14 character.
Me
I
too.
haven't yet. I played around up to like level 8, done some early quests, and I know Derek said last time, "Oh, that's cute, level 8. That's cute."
I
Pat on the head.
it really that maybe takes what, an hour
Listen,
of actual
Damn.
gameplay?
Just
Well,
your hunting lines?
maybe it took me maybe 2 to 3 hours, but I was also exploring a little bit too, so it's
that's
probably
fair.
a little bit. Yeah.
So wait, I don't know it, but wait, Ash, maybe Rogadin or Lalafell, one of those two. I want to say.
Lalafell.
Okay,
How'd you
yeah.
guess?
I
How'd you
don't
guess?
know. I got that vibe. It's either the
Nice.
biggest guy or the smallest man.
I didn't really like the look of the more human-like characters, and I just kind of wanted to be an anime boy. And I was like, "Hey, Lalafells are anime boys and girls. Let's just go with that."
Whoa. The dragon people. I don't know their names because I've played
Aura.
maybe 30
Aura,
minutes.
yeah.
They are the true anime race, all right? They got horns and tails and
No,
spikes. And
no,
Are we
no.
really gonna disclude cat?
I was going to
people?
say,
Like,
Mamokote,
that
let's
might
be
yeah.
honest,
I'm a
that is
Mamokote
true
too.
anime.
And Vieira
Yeah, that's
as
true
well.
anime.
Cat
Yeah,
girls
yeah.
are the only
Cat girls
recognized
are true anime right there.
race. You
Yeah.
can't be a cat man. Come on.
Yeah, right. I know, right?
Everybody loves the cat boy.
You're-
We got
you're
new
a cat
pants
boy?
that show off our butts.
Yeah.
Those have been spreading around
He's
Twitter.
not wrong. He's not wrong. I'm a
No,
cat boy,
no,
so
he's
yeah,
not.
it works out.
I have not gotten
Nice.
that piece of armor yet, but I am far from it. Like where it's at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
So-
well, I
Yeah.
will return to Final Fantasy 14, but I know you know, Derek, because you own this channel right along with me and Ash, that we're pretty busy right now.
Yeah,
we
we got a
going
lot
on.
to do tonight after this show.
Yeah, so when we can, we will, and I will. I actually do love FF14 so far, but man, I bleed blue. I'm a Sega boy all the way, so I'm gonna have to check out that PSO2 NGS beta as soon as it drops. And like I said, GV gang, come on along. We'll learn about the game together. But we have a lot of news to discuss today, gentlemen, and I know that Vash in particular is practically trembling with anticipation for our first story. So I'm gonna get that one up on screen now. And this comes to us by way of our good friend Nibel on Twitter. Famitsu has revealed that Tales of Arise is going to launch on September 9th for PS5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S, as well as, last-gen versions, PS4, Xbox One. It's also coming to Steam. A ton of information about this game has dropped. 7 minutes of gameplay. We're getting 4K 60 FPS mode. We're getting a graphic fidelity mode, which I assume is 30 FPS. Battles load faster. Vash, I'm going to throw it to you first, man, because this is why you reached out to me today.
Exactly.
Tell me what you know.
I mean, essentially, like, I don't want to go crazy overboard with like, oh, let's talk about the history and how long it's been and blah blah. Like, basically, there's been 16 mothership titles. If you want to include like some sequels like Dawn of the New World and stuff like that, there's like up to 19. But this one will be the 17th title in this franchise, and it started on Super Famicom. So like, Tales has been there since forever, and so it's great. They're taking huge leaps and bounds from where we've known Tales of, because Tales of has started as like a side scroller, like kind of like not beat 'em up, but just sort of like an action RPG in the sense of where you're actively moving, no turn-based battle, no nothing like that. And yeah, just from what we've seen, I did a whole breakdown as soon as I woke up, looked at my phone at like 9 in the morning. I had like 15 pings from people being like, "Hey, how did you see what happened?" Blah blah. And yeah, like there's a you can dodge in this game, which is totally new to a Tales fan. You can actually auto ledge jump Ocarina of Time style off of a ledge in this game, which is totally new to the Tales series. Awesome. And yeah, there's a lot of things that are different and a lot of things that are really, really exciting. But I mean, I'm just so glad we had Tales Fest come by not too long ago. We had multiple like what was it? It's like Tokyo Game Show that came by not too long ago, and we were just waiting for news, and everyone was like, did they rebrand it? Because we did have I believe it was like a licensing name for Tales of Luminaria. So we don't know what that is, but so people were thinking maybe it got rebranded or something. But no, sure enough, it's here, September 9th. I'm gonna be there 24 hours. Like I'm gonna just sit there for 24 hours playing that game.
Holy cow! I almost wonder if like Tales of Luminaria is either a mobile game or a Switch game.
I hope it's an MMO. Give me another MMO.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
This is actually the day before my birthday, so I might have to, if I have time to play a JRPG. I would love to check it out because I'm like a casual Tales fan. I loved Symphonia back in the day. Really liked Vesperia back in the day, but most of the other Tales of games I've not been able to stick with that I've tried. So, but I've heard so much about Arise, and people are so excited about it. And they've been so excited about it. And I feel like, even though I've not been anticipating it, I still feel like I've been waiting forever for this game to actually get announced with a release date.
You want your anime character. This is like the franchise for you, Ash.
I know,
like,
it's anime as hell. Exactly.
I'm very much like you, where Tales of Symphonia is the only one I've beat. A friend lent it to me. I played it, like, really addicted. I feel like that's the one everybody played for the Tales series, and it's a shame that there isn't more, because I wanted to get Vesperia because I was so excited from Symphonia, but didn't have a 360 and didn't have a chance to haven't had a chance to get back to Vesperia. I picked up Xillia, but for whatever reason didn't stick with it. It might have been one of those things where I just got called away and just didn't. I
recently did a platinum playthrough of Xillia, and that was my first time playing it, and it was a good time. It was the battle system, probably one of my favorites in the Tales series.
Dang.
Is that the one that has the sphere grid-esque character advancement system? Is it
kind of? It's called like a Lilim orb, and it's like once you upgrade so many, it expands even more so, and so on and so forth. But that was the first Tales game that we had two main protagonists you can choose from, Mila and Jude.
Real
quick, I do remember that aspect.
I was a little confused about this. Vash, that September 9th date, is that Japan or the West? I thought it was.
I'm guessing. I think it's like, how it'll say September 9th, but then it's actually the 10th for us. Like in that sense,
you think I think it's a global release.
Yeah, I think it's just like, because this is. I wanted to mention, Tales of Cristoria is like the last Tales game that's come out, but that's the mobile game, and that was the first Tales game that was launched globally. And so the new Tales series director, he basically said he wants to like start incorporating the West, make changes to the series that would help, get people involved from the West to be more interested in the series. And now we're getting this game that's being launched globally, and it's really, really exciting because Berseria was the last main title, and that one came out on PS3 in Japan like maybe 3 months before it came out here. Nice. So huge steps for this series. They put out a Twitter account that they've never done for a mobile game for the West. They've done a whole revamp of the YouTube channel to like put translated. They even put some of the anime that they've never localized onto Crunchyroll. So like,
oh, wow.
Tales of is getting very, very interested in spreading their wings.
It's interesting they're getting that push, because from what my understanding, Tales is basically the number 3 RPG series in Japan. Like, they have Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, then Tales.
They have Tales of Festival happens every year, and they host them in soccer stadiums because there's so many people.
Oh my gosh!
Wow,
yeah.
It's a franchise I feel like I need to check out more, but JRPG takes a little while. Like, I'd love to check out, like, start like with Fantasia and work my way up, but apparently the GBA version of Tales of Fantasia is not great.
It's not. Localization has been a huge issue with the series, at least from the roots. There's a lot of games that we'd never get to play, like Destiny, Tales of Rebirth. There's a bunch of really big name games in the series that we never got to touch, but I played through the Game Boy Advance version of Fantasia, and if you can deal with really, really bad dubbed voices saying "tractor beam" in the most ridiculous way possible, that's not even joking. That's what it sounds like. So
I can not only deal with those, but I would enjoy them. Like,
I mean, as someone who played a lot of Star Ocean 2 back in the day, I can get behind, and Lunar 1, Lunar 2, I can get behind some
that's good.
goofy dub special moves names.
Then you would love Tales of Eternia. That one's the worst dubbing ever.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I'm trying to figure out why I skipped Tales of Legendia because I think that's the next game that came out after Symphonia.
It was made alongside Tales of the Abyss, and actually I think some fighting game developers were working on that one with Bandai, like from Tekken and stuff. So that's why that game is that one's vastly different in the sense of like combat and gameplay, and also For some reason, the series. Ash, you might be aware. The series Sakuraba is the composer.
I was actually going to ask you about him. Yeah.
Yeah, but Tales of Legendia. Listen to me, chat. Listen to me, everybody who's watching this video. Tales of Legendia is one of the best OSTs ever made. Please go listen to it. Go Sheena. Go Sheena did that was the one Tales game where it was like Go Sheena, go wild, and
nice.
They went wild. It was insane. So
nice.
Legendia is so good.
I was going to ask you, do we know yet if Motoi Sakuraba is returning for Rise?
I believe they're both credited because Go Sheena was on Tales of Zestiria for vocal tracks, and then also the shrine challenges that were in that game. So I believe they're both credited. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure they're both going to be on this next one, and it's going to be great.
I think in the news they put out for Tales of Arise, by the way, that the game will have the most anime cutscenes of any of the games to this point, and I forget the animation studio.
I can't pronounce it properly, but it's like Ufotable or Ufotable or something like that. That's the name of the anime. They did
Dragon Slayer, right?
Yeah, Dragon Slayer, or like they've done a lot of like really cool animations, and so yeah, they said this is probably in the franchise itself the most cutscenes that are going to be fully animated by them, which is awesome.
So nice. That was my first time hearing anyone say Tales of Zesty. If I were to say like Tales of Vespi or Tales of Symphy, could I pass as a hardcore? Does that work for every
if you say Vespi and you say Zesty, yes.
Symphy, no.
Symphy, no. Yeah, people just say Symphonia. Like they won't even say Tales of, they just say Symphonia.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, I'll remember that.
Okay, so it's Fantasy Thinker Fan confirmed, I think, Demon Slayer, and that's the one common thing I've heard about Demon Slayer is it's freaking gorgeous. So,
yeah, the animation style is really good. Yeah, and I believe most of the animes that are out on YouTube and Crunchyroll were also animated by that company. So very, very, very good stuff, and the quality's there. It's really good. And Tales of Fantasia anime on Crunchyroll just got English dub, and JYB, the voice actor for Vash, is actually the main character Cress, which is the original protagonist from the first game.
Cool.
So, very cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's funny because he also wasn't he the new protagonist in Dawn of the New World?
Yes, he was Emil / Ratatas. The funniest thing is, you guys know my brother. He was on the show. Yes. Broly Legs. Broly is his character, a tag name from when we were playing like Halo 1 back in the day. That's when we started picking our tag names. Mm-hmm. And Broly is now voiced by JYB, who voices Vash. So it came full circle for me and him. Yeah,
I've only heard a few of his grunts from fighters.
Yeah, it just sounds like Ichigo or any other voice that he's done. But but
that's Broly to just need this guy to scream.
Yeah, but another interesting thing about Arise that's really cool is that all the from what I was told, all the characters are they all have the same character designer. It's all one person, as opposed to the rest of the series where it's been like multiple people.
Oh, okay.
Very cool. Very cool.
Well,
I never realized they were designed by multiple people throughout the series because it always seemed pretty uniform. Like when I hear multiple people, I think Xenoblade Chronicles 2, all the blades, because you could definitely tell there's a lot of different designs going in there.
But yeah, just overall very exciting stuff. I can't wait to play the game, and it's I think the weirdest aspect that I'm getting off of first look from it all is the voice. I love the voice cast for Critical Role. I love all the names of like Troy Baker, stuff like that. And Ray Chase is slowly getting up there in my list of people who are like, being in everything these days. I mean, he's in NieR Replicant. But yeah, Ray Chase and I believe it's Erica Lindbeck. They're both in this game, and they were also both main characters in the last game, Tales of Berseria. So it's a little weird that I'm going to hear the same voice again. You know what I mean?
Usually, I thought they usually try to get a whole new cast.
They do, but they've had repeats. Like Sam Riegel's been in like 4 different games.
Okay.
I mean, Ray Chase was Noctis as well.
He was
Noctis and got Jesse for Aaron
and Master of Masters.
Oh right,
I forget he does that. Oh wow.
He does a great job with that role.
Has been just really good though. Like he's ever since he first heard of him thanks to Noctis, and then just blew up.
Yeah, that was my first time hearing him, and then it went straight into like I'm gonna be in everything now.
Fun fact: Every Night Studio points out he plays Roy in Smash.
Yep, Roy in Smash.
Right. And fun fact: my wife actually went to school, went to college with Ray. Like they're not like close friends. She's like, oh, my buddy Ray is Noctis. That's so cool. So they kind of are acquaintances. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, y'all, I know we could probably go on for another 30 minutes, but we're already 30 minutes into our allotted time for the show. So
20 minutes.
we
That's fine.
probably should talk about other stories. Real quick, though, before we move on, a couple pieces of housekeeping. Real quick, Abisola Oseni has joined as a brand new patron to our producer tier. So I don't know if you're in the audience, if you go by a different name on YouTube. But
It's really funny. So, Steve, I don't think you realize that's my wife.
Oh!
That's my wife. Yeah,
I did not realize that.
Yeah, she wanted to donate and donate to the GVG cause. She's of course very proud of me and us. And so
now we have to have a
gives
hi
us all our
hun at the
best.
end of the show, not a hi mom.
I know, right?
That's what she got the EP.
Yeah. I know she's on an EP. So what's funny though, she doesn't want to have her name read out or listed. She's like a super private person, so she just wanted to donate and be part of the cause. But
I apologize.
We don't need to have her name in the credits.
You are an executive producer in our hearts, though.
Exactly. Exactly.
You definitely executive produce one of our co-founders up here. I say about Amy and Derek, Ash would not exist without you. I guarantee it. However,
I guarantee it.
we do have one other piece of breaking news. Geeky Griffin has upped their pledge from $10 to $25, joining the EP squad. I hope you're in the audience. I haven't seen you, but thank you for your generosity, Geeky Griffin. We appreciate that so much. And now I know Basola's legal name, I guess. I don't know. I apologize for putting that out. Yeah. I always just assumed she was Basola.
Goes by Ishi Dragon. Yo, that's me.
Awesome. Ishi Dragon. All right. Well, thank you so much. I recognize you now. I see you in almost every episode.
That's my wife.
That's my wife. I'm married to Ishi Dragon. Watch, one of these days my wife's name is going to show up in here and I'm going to be shocked. I'll be like, I didn't know that. Anyway, moving on. That was fun. So from one piece of good news to a piece of decidedly bad news, let's go ahead and get this up on screen here. This comes by way of Twitter and in the Gigaleak, apparently, which apparently keeps giving. But there was a file that someone located of meeting minutes from the Capcom leak that confirms that Sony paid to have the PC version of Monster Hunter World delayed and the announcement of its existence pushed back. They did the same for Iceborne, and they are also the reason cross-play and cross-saves were not enabled. Yikes.
Yep, that sounds like Sony.
Yeah, that's
Sony.
So far, so Sony.
Sony paying to be the bad guy here, paying for the opportunity to actively,
that whole first
screw.
part sounded like you can they're trying to play to their strengths here, they're trying to get something nice for themselves, but then that last statement's just like,
they hate crossplay.
Yeah.
I don't get. Well, I understand the myopic view that leads to that is that if people have to play in our ecosystem, they'll go where their friends are and so on and so forth. But that's not really. I will say that last generation, past a certain point, I started just looking at games, and if they were on Xbox, I would get them there because I didn't want to support, a company that was so against me being able to play with my friends regardless of platform. I would much rather, and I realize that Sony at this point knows that they lost that fight. They can't do that. It damages their goodwill enough to where the dollars and cents don't add up. But it sucks to know that behind the scenes they were pushing so hard that they were willing to pay Capcom off to prevent this functionality from existing. What the fuck? This is so bad.
I know, right?
And it makes sense for Capcom. It's like, all right.
Oh yeah.
Whoops.
Oh, man.
I killed Knuckles. I was
Derek,
this entire time of hitting this table and knocking it all over.
Sony just tried to get rid of your lock-on technology.
I know.
Derek's pissed about.
It's because it was Ace Attorney, so I thought Capcom was doing something. I thought Ace Attorney fell, but it's right there.
Oh my god.
That could not have been better staged. But
no, perfect.
Scared the crap out of me.
Sony just came out. You talking shit?
Yeah.
I got something for you, Derek.
So start seeing a red dot.
Oh no.
Oh man. I mean, but technically they'd have to look out of their own building and into your window. That could count as crossplay. They might not do it.
That's true.
We can't reach Derek on his own platform. We have to bring him on our YouTube channel to kill him.
And then mess with him.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes a long way from. I remember, I believe it was at E3, but I remember that funny Sony, it was one executive passing a game over to his friend Like I remember that like vividly
yeah.
in my head, and I'm like, it's so weird how Sony just goes from this kind of point of view to like what they've been doing recently. It's just, man.
I mean, Sony is a cocky Sony is never good.
That's how we got the PS3. Well, really, when all the big three get cocky, it's kind of not good.
That is true.
But cocky Sony, especially though, I feel like kind of goes the distance in a way. I remember when during the PS3 days, especially when PS3 wasn't doing particularly
real quick. Ditto M. I would love to see a source for that because apparently this story was proven false a few days ago.
Oh man!
Oh, really? Let's see.
I know it was like whenever the story started coming out, everyone was like, it was just discussions or whatever.
Well, it did, yeah. Our headline is that it seems to indicate. It's not necessarily 100%. Yeah, it's not necessarily.
It'd be good to have it one way or the other.
I'd like to know the source on that as well, just because. Oh, wow. Hey, you know what? What better time than when we're wrong to change the topic? A quick bit of breaking news.
Something came up.
Yeah. Alessia has updated their pledge from $10 to $25, joining our EP squad.
Ooh,
thank you so much,
Alessia. Thank you so
Alessia.
much.
That's awesome. We appreciate you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But it wasn't confirmed. It's like a rumor. So this could be one way or the other. We don't know for sure.
Right. Right.
Gotcha.
But I mean, it certainly tracks. It would not surprise me at all.
Yeah, that's the thing. You hear this, like, that sounds like Sony.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all because that is absolutely something they would do.
Yeah, I would see them. I could see this going either way. I could see Sony being myopic enough to pay some, to pay Capcom to not include this. I could also see Capcom just not thinking that people would want this, which is really weird. But either way, if they do this, if Sony did this, it's just another in a line of poor decisions that they've made that are, man, it's hard to classify them as poor decisions, but definitely anti-consumer decisions.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And there was another. Oh, go ahead, Steve.
I was going to say, going back real quick, I would have to argue that of the big three, Nintendo is absolutely the worst when they're at peak cockiness. Like when Nintendo is at 100% swagger, they are the worst. I mean, we forget that like Nintendo basically told people, if you want to make a game on the NES, it literally can't ever appear anywhere else. And you're going to pay us for the privilege. Like Nintendo.
What are they, Atlas? We're talking about Atlas right now?
I know, right?
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if Nintendo maintained the stranglehold they had on the industry in the 80s, they would be like, you're never going to stream any of our games.
Yeah.
Because because we own you.
Yeah. I think
Meanwhile,
I think at peak arrogance Nintendo is worse, but I feel like Sony
reaches their peak arrogance quicker. Like
exactly. I think the ramp up is worse for Sony.
Yeah, there's some level of confidence you have to have if you put John Cena in a desert playing Switch. Like you have to be super confident at that point.
Oh yeah.
When I saw that commercial of John Cena in the middle of like the freaking Vegas desert playing the Switch, I was like, what's going on here? How cool is Nintendo right now?
Fantasy Thinker Fan brings up a great point that this is a story we actually were going to mention, but just struck just to keep it down to the usual 8 stories. But there is a story circulating today about Resident Evil 8 and a parody contract that Sony and Capcom had going, to keep certain exclusivity stuff with Resident Evil 8. I won't get into it, but that is apparently legitimate. And so that's just another reason that I wouldn't be surprised if this other story was legitimate. But
I mean, these type of things kind of happen. Like look at
it's pretty typical,
especially with Capcom, because again, look at what was it, Capcom 5 on GameCube, and especially with, they had their one big hit, which was Resident Evil 4, and that got ported everywhere. Even Beautiful Joe got ported to PS2.
I don't necessarily think that this is a bad practice either. There's a far more insidious practice that's too common in the game industry, which is like the per retailer pre-order bonus. Seriously, fuck that.
Yeah,
like, to get every bit of DLC for a game you love, you have to buy like 8 copies. But I mean, it makes sense if you're a platform holder to try to basically commission exclusives from outside parties. Why wouldn't you want Street Fighter 6, for instance, to be exclusive to your platform? Yeah, it's not great for gamers, but at the same time, it's at least a logical business move. Like you're gonna want to get, if Nintendo says, hey, we'll make a game for you, Xbox, if you give us $1 billion, I'm sure Microsoft would pony up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I was having that internal conflict. I was kind of thinking like, I understand why people might not be might have the best opinion about what's going on with all this, but I also think like you got to make a reason why your console is winning the war, or like why it's appealing to people. So if you have certain, like Microsoft's doing it right now with Bethesda, we don't know in the future if certain Bethesda titles are going to be only Microsoft exclusive. So it's like some
it's inevitable. It really is inevitable.
You don't spend that kind of money and then still let them make games for every platform. You
don't make a picture of Step Brothers, Doom Guy and not expect them to have. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, agreed. Also, though, I resent the fact that Master Chief is the older brother in that picture. Like, Doom Guy absolutely deserves to be the one with the hand on the shoulder. Come on.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I mean, his legacy reaches much further back than Master Chief's does. Not to disrespect the Chief, but this is Doom, man. Doom put
Doom literally came first, so
let's just be real. If Doom Guy and Master Chief teamed up, like Doom Guy would be ripping and tearing people apart, and Master Chief would be barfing in his helmet. Like he'd be like, God, please stop. Show some decorum. Fuck. I thought we were just going to drive a warthog around. What the hell are you doing? You don't have to punch holes in them. We have guns.
Yeah.
Is that a knife on your forearm? Are you stabbing that man's eye right now?
I mean, how low tech are you? This is ridiculous.
I mean, let's put it this way: it's been so long since I played Halo. The aliens in that game are still, have all their limbs attached, so you can tell who's the more brutal fighter.
That's true.
Definitely.
I would love to see a game where you're playing as Doom Guy in the Halo universe and vice versa. Like the demons are all cocky in Doom, and the aliens in Halo are just terrified. They're like, "Oh shit, man, come on, just get to the ship. This guy's crazy. Let's go. Get me out of here."
Hey, wait, that ain't Chief. Back up.
Whatever we're doing here is over. I'm out.
I can see his forearm. No, that's not where
I feel like when the VOD version of this episode drops, we're going to be hearing from some hardcore Chief fans about the.
My brother's the biggest Halo fan, but I'm sure he would agree that Doom Guy is another level of kind of grotesque with his.
No, I agree.
With his way of handling things.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If
I like to balance it, like if you want to appease the Halo fans, balance it in the way of like Chief has some finesse to his kills. He has like a little bit more eloquence to it all, and Doom Guy is a little bit more hardcore.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Definitely.
All right. We speaking of people who violently punch things to win, let's throw our next story up on screen.
Tougher than leather.
I mean, obviously, a little bit more kid-friendly version. I mean, there's no limbs being torn off, but Knuckles has been revealed in the weirdest of ways to be in the Sonic 2 movie. And that is, I guess, apparently when they shoot these movies, they just include life-size plastic props of some of these characters.
I can imagine it kind of helps.
I would think so. I guess I'll just be the first to say, you guys, Knuckles looks... If this is representative of what he's going to look like CG-wise, he looks bomb. He looks great.
Looks awesome.
He looks friggin' great. Like, the only thing I noticed with him, and it might be just because of the glare, it doesn't look like he has his white ring around his neck.
Like the boomerang.
It might be more subtle.
It gives me the same vibe of, when you in Aladdin, when you saw Genie without the like little cuffs, and he kind of feels like a little naked. It gives me that same kind of vibe where I'm like, something's not right here, but it still looks cool.
It does make him a little more naked.
Make him a little more naked.
His shoes are also not as colorful, but they still are at the Lego top. So, it's mostly the same, and Tails looks perfect. It's this movie should not be looking this good.
I'm so hyped for this.
The first one was amazing. I walked out of that movie theater smiling, and I was like, man, that was great. I'm gonna buy that on 4K as soon as it comes out, and I did.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Steve.
The thing I have to point out is that, and this sounds dumb, but I'm going full tinfoil hat on this one.
All right.
The way that Sonic and Knuckles are positioned in this shot would indicate that they're not fighting each other, but rather standing together.
I was gonna say that because when this story came out, my initial reaction was like, man, I missed the days where I was just at Blockbuster Video and I didn't know anything about a movie that was on a trailer and a little freaking video up ahead. And now, obviously in the modern age, everyone gets like, they dissect every little bit of information they can get from, secret shots from the set. And but this could be a turning point where Knuckles is like, oh wait, I'm actually on your team, and we're all facing a threat together, and that's the part of the story I might have wanted to experience on my own, because as we know, in the beginning of the Sonic movie, the echidnas weren't really that friendly.
This could be,
This does feel like especially with all the torn up stuff behind him, this feels like the end of the final battle.
This could be like the latter half or later in the movie. I agree. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I think this is like the final showdown with Eggman. I refuse to call him anything else. And
I mean, they call him Eggman.
It is also worth noting that this wasn't the only leak screen or shot from the set. We also had a picture of James Marsden and Tika Sumpter running from some sort of explosion. So
running from those plastic figures, man.
Yeah. So this does all seem to suggest that at least a decent portion of the movie will take place in Green Hills again, and not necessarily focus on Sonic's world.
It could be an on your left situation where Sonic, that guy, he has like, maybe Sonic left some rings behind for them, and they show up at the end to come help their friends.
That could be as well. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
But I will say, even though they were like the token human characters in the kids movie around all the CG characters and such around Sonic, I actually quite enjoyed their presence in the first Sonic movie. I'm kind of glad to see him back. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I really enjoy the job they did. They've made believable characters in a movie that I didn't think humans really would fit well into.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I definitely think it was a great. They did a great job, and it also fed to the comedic effect of the fish out of water aspect, where you have Sonic, doing all these goofy things, and this guy's got to react to what's going on here, and so it played that well enough, and they're great actors and actresses. So I think it's the same kind of effect that people have with, oh, I want to watch a Godzilla movie with no humans. You got to have at least a little bit, and if you're gonna have a little bit, make it good. And I think Sonic did a good job.
I think that's why somebody brought up a good point about needing humans in like a Godzilla movie, because it gives you the sense of scale. You don't have the humans in there, then you don't have any sense just how big these things are. And I guess it kind of has the same element to this. I don't think it's as needed just because you have Robotnik for that, but I guess it grounds it a bit more. Design wise, like I saw something, I forget where it was, but somebody mentioned how this is just so weird for most productions, because usually it's like they, only a few are kind of snapped. There's usually security there, but something's going on with the Sonic set where it's just all out there and people are just snapping up like crazy. It's why we've had almost new Sonic 2 stuff to talk about every episode.
Danilo Imini in the chat makes a great point, saying, well, the Sonic doll looks a bit more like Game Sonic than movie Sonic, I believe. So, and it does, if you look at the Sonic props. So there is a chance that what Knuckles we're seeing here may still look a bit different. The CG model may look a bit different, but I think they're on the right track. It's like this really nice cross between like Game Knuckles and Boom Knuckles, but not freakishly large, buff Boom Knuckles, just a little bigger.
Does he have fingers? I guess that's one thing I can't tell.
It looks like it
it's hard to say.
I would suspect that we're going to get some minor tweaks to this plastic model. Like, this isn't the final design,
absolutely.
but I think it's really close.
It's Paramount, right? Paramount's making this?
Yes.
Paramount, yeah.
Yeah, so I bet you, like, after what happened with the first movie, Paramount's over here on the internet, on Twitter, looking like, oh, are they liking it? Are they liking it? Okay, we're not going to change it. We're not going to change it.
Can you imagine what we might be looking at if Sonic's design had never been overhauled? What would Knuckles? He would be cursed.
I wanted it to be on the freaking Blu-ray or the 4K. I wish it was just some sort of like extra reel or something, man. You're gonna make me pay $34 for this movie. Give me something.
Evernight Studio, after my own heart, says, look at him. He don't chuckle. He'd rather flex his muscles. Of course, referencing all the wonderful Knuckles raps in Sonic Adventure 2.
I have the Sonic Adventure 2 Battle CD. I have it in my car. I literally drive around with that.
Oh, it's so good.
It's one of those soundtracks where it's like, there's no reason they had to go this hard. But I've always wondered, did Sega reach out to this guy and he's like, okay, you're an echidna and you're really tough. I want you to make me a song out of his perspective. You're writing a song about yourself as an echidna. I wish I was there for that conversation. Something like that.
My favorite is Knuckles rapping to Rouge in Wild Canyon. Give up the emeralds or die. I don't love you. You can't make that shit up. It's so good.
Yeah,
and they play it serious.
Exactly. If you sit there and listen to like the song in Meteor Herd or like Aquatic Mine, it's just like hope I don't die. Like he's like,
hope I don't die. Yeah. And Jared Edgar says she's sexy, smooth. Yeah.
Just brought up a really good point. There's, you know what? I feel like it might pop into the movie. Ugandan Knuckles meme. I know it's not an actual name, but it's best I got. That they put in Sonic.
Yep.
Get the crazy old guy to draw a Ugandan Knuckles.
Oh man, that
would be amazing.
Funny.
Yeah, I
feel like that might be offensive in a way that Sonic isn't, though. I feel like they might not.
I mean, the Ugandan Knuckles thing. Yeah, I know it has an offensive aspect to it. I'm not quite sure. I'm not overly familiar with that meme. Just the design. So I think the design aspect, it's fine. Maybe. It's just calling it Ugandan Knuckles, I think, is the problem.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was official or not, but they said something like I believe there was an interview where they said they had a lot more freedom with what they were going to do, and they were going to be a little bit more creative and have a little more crazy stuff going on. So maybe, we could get something like that.
Juan says, "You're damn right, Knuckles." I just wanted to say that. That's really all I got.
Damn right. We'll see about that, Batgirl. I mean, I love Adventure 2. Don't even get me started. I'll talk about this all day.
So good. I know. It's so good. But yeah, Knuckles looks awesome, and I can't wait for Sonic 2. We all can't wait for Sonic 2.
The last word I have on this is that I hope that this time, instead of doing rings for the Paramount logo, they use the Chaos Emeralds. That's what I want for Sonic 2.
See, I feel like that's not a spoiler unless that's in the trailer.
Yeah,
that maybe.
Even better thing is the end Paramount logo having the Robotnik doing his thing from the end of Sonic 1 where he's juggling.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. Cool. No, because at the end of Sonic 1, you get that little bit of there's that really cool hero moment where Sonic comes alive, right? He's been knocked down and he looks like he's going to lose. And then he's you have the whole power of friendship moment where he just explodes in electricity. When I think of that, but I extrapolate it and put it into a supersonic moment, I just get so excited. I want to see movie CG Supersonic, man. I want to see it.
I've been thinking about it forever. I was thinking that this movie would be Robotnik manipulating Knuckles to hey, we got to stop this guy. And at the end of the movie, Knuckles teams up with the team, what we might get from this picture we got. They beat Robotnik, and then he takes that quill that he got, and he starts working on Metal Sonic for the third movie, and I think that'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
I'm expecting Metal Sonic for this movie.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. I think we'll see him.
I'm thinking Metal Sonic for this movie and Shadow for the next movie.
That's what I see.
Maybe. That'd be interesting. All right. Well, anyway, we still got, 5 more stories to cover? Let's go ahead. Yeah. This will be a quick one, though. This is an update to a previous story. I'll get that up on screen now. We previously reported here on TNT that online multiplayer games or free-to-play multiplayer games would no longer require an Xbox Live subscription. And apparently, according to Xbox blog, that day is today. So they have made online multiplayer free for free-to-play titles, and they list off a whole bunch of stuff. All the usual suspects are there. Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone, stuff like that. The Crackdown games, which I didn't know were free-to-play. That's weird.
They need something.
But basically, they've made the common sense thing happen. I don't think that there's a lot to discuss here, but it's good news for those of you that have an Xbox that don't feel like paying Microsoft a subscription fee just to play games that don't cost money to play and that are absolutely free on every other platform. I think this is smart. They should have done this years ago.
It should have been a long time ago.
I honestly didn't even know. PS4 won me over this last gen, so I didn't really play much Xbox One or have it around on at least on very often. So I thought it was just standard already, but guess not.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you assume in 2021 would have been happening for a while already, but apparently hasn't been. They used to also have their multimedia apps paywalled off. You had to have Xbox Live Gold to watch Netflix on an Xbox, which is really
wild. Yeah, that was ridiculous. Yeah, this was something, like you said, Steve, there's not a whole lot to say about this. This should have already been the case, and it's good that it now is the case.
I mean, that's another reason I was kind of taken with the Sony's online and PS3 because it was free at the time. So I didn't have to worry about any of that. It was just cool.
I wish we lived in a world where that was still a thing, but at least we get free games as part of it now. I guess that balances it all out. But not a lot to discuss here. I have a feeling we'll have a little bit more to talk about for this next story, or as I like to call it, our foreign language tweet of the day. And that is, and I promise you that's what this says, is that Square Enix is looking to staff up for future entries in the NieR franchise. This comes from the NieR PR account, the Japanese NieR PR account on Twitter. They're apparently hiring specifically for folks to work on the NieR series. What roles? I don't know. It's a lot of kanji in there.
Yeah, well, it looks as though, at least from what we have over here, it could possibly be scenario designers, art directors, and assistant producers. We don't know for sure. That's what the research we've done over here seems to indicate. But yeah, certainly don't take that to the bank. It may not actually be those specific titles, but it sure does seem to indicate either way that Square is not done with NieR just because they just remade Replicant, and that NieR has a healthy future at Square. And
I'm
that's
still
great.
waiting for that mobile game. I know it got released overseas, but we got the West version got delayed, and I'm not gonna sit here and be like, hey, go get excited for a mobile game. But I am, I want to try it out, and I just recently played NieR Automata, so I'm getting into the series slowly but surely, and I'm gonna be playing Replicant tomorrow, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
want to play Replicant so badly. I know I don't have time, but I want to play it.
Digging into this a bit further, you are correct, Ash. It's a scenario designer, an assistant producer, and an art director is what they're looking for.
Yes.
For the NieR series specifically. It even says NieR series in all of these job title listings.
A lot of people are wondering if that includes Drakengard. Is Drakengard considered part of the NieR series? Because apparently, and I've not played any of these dungeons yet, but the dungeons in Final Fantasy 14 that they just added a new raid for 5.5 apparently has some Drakengard connections to it that got people excited. So there's that. I mean, the pre-order numbers must be pretty good for Square if they're already looking at this sort of hiring thing for Replicant. And of course, Automata has wonderful word of mouth, which I still need to play. Honestly, would not mind checking out Drakengard as well. He's subpar as the gameplay is in all of those games, but still, it's
I've heard that a lot.
You play the NieR. That's this series almost for the story, not the gameplay.
Right, Derek, you and Michael McCall are in the same boat. You both really do need to play NieR Automata, man.
You need to play Replicant.
I do. Well, I mean, I want to, but you create 50 or whatever, however many hours for me to go play that
create
game.
The hours.
But I do. I never played the original. I really want to play Replicant, and I'm just glad that this series seems to have a long life ahead of it. Still, it's very unique in terms of Square's lineup. And I love that it seems to just have a healthy future.
I want to place a guess that it's probably going to lean more into just re-envisioning those earlier games of Drakengard and stuff. Because if you go back, those cutscenes and stuff are so loony and wacky, and I can't even begin to explain. Well, I had someone show me, because I haven't played those games before, but they were like, "Oh, watch this one scene. It's wild." Because I'm getting a little off track. I really love the loony side of games. That's why I'm a huge No More Heroes fan, Suda51 fan. And someone showed me God Hand yesterday, and I've never played God Hand.
You've never seen God Hand? I've not played it. I've seen it, and it's
as soon as I ended my stream yesterday, I went and bought it on PSN it was so funny because I was actually watching the video that you guys made for the 44, or I believe it was like 48 PS1 titles, and it was on there, and I was like, this game looks wild. And we watched the intro video to some other YouTube, and I'm like, man, I bought that instantly. But yeah, NieR has that same kind of itch at times where it's just a little loony, especially with, I think the little moonhead guy's name is Emil in Automata. Stuff like that is very out there.
See his origin in Replicant.
Right. I will say, and I have to point this out, that there are some pretty cringy trophies in those games.
Yeah, I saw the one that came out today, which is very, very unfortunate in regards to Kaine.
Yeah,
that's a bit of a Yoko Taroism, I guess. Unfortunately,
which is weird because he treats her with such respect otherwise, barring the outfit.
I'm pretty sure I remember reading a quote from him saying, "I just like women" or something like that. So I wouldn't pull it past them that he's just kind of like, "Oh, I'm just diving into my interests" or something. I don't know. Something wild.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's a shame that it goes both ways.
When NieR originally came out, that might have been a bit more acceptable than it is today. And I think that when remaking a game, there's value in looking at what the cultural norms are of the time in which you're re-releasing and maybe adjusting accordingly. But I get it. It's kind of a double-edged sword. you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, right? There are folks like us that kind of lean more towards what I like to say the light, and we don't appreciate stuff like that. And there are people that will simultaneously come out and say, well, that was in the original game, this isn't a real remake anymore, I want to look at butts, damn it. Like, I get it. There's no winning, and I sympathize with people who create stuff that are in that unwinnable scenario, but maybe do the right thing. All right.
Maybe do the right thing.
Yeah. That said, I'd be pretty wild. Honestly, barring the frame rate of what I've seen of Drakengard 3, Vash, that cool. is, you want your craziness, there you go.
Is that with the baby coming out of the sky and like
that's Drakengard 1.
That's
Drakengard 3 seems a bit more tongue-in-cheek.
The cutscene I saw was like a dragon in a lake urinating, and I was like so confused.
Drakengard 3 is the only exposure I've had to the NieR series, and I remember thinking,
oh wow,
all right, this is wild.
It is wild. I forget the exact cutscenes, but there's there's some interesting interactions between these sisters as they fight each other.
I do love that like Square Enix seems to typically just let Yoko Taro just go wild though. Like they don't seem to really put him on a leash, and you know they shouldn't, because there's really no one else like him in the industry. And you know, I mean, you can buy achievements, you could purchase achievements in NieR Automata, which is awesome. Like it totally turns the idea of achievements on its head, or trophies or whatever. And I mean, this is the same guy who recorded, I think it was a NieR Automata commercial for Square Enix, where it was just him rolling on the ground in an Emil head saying, "Shit, Square Enix!"
Yoko Taro is amazing as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
One says, as far as Drakengard 3, for anybody who needs to know more about this, it's Madoka Magica crossed with Ruby, but with a lot more blood and gore. That I've not watched Madoka Magica, but that sounds about right. I actually never watched Ruby, but that seems on the ball.
Nice. Evernight Studio in the chat shamelessly bought my Automata Platinum. LOL. Hey, you do you, nice. King.
You do you, King.
All right, so we have just a couple more stories left. This one I'm sure is set to delight both Derek and Ash. Let's get this on screen. So we finally have information on the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. It's coming July 27th, and it will be releasing on Switch, PS4, and Steam. Finally, we have information on this.
Oh, thank goodness.
So, it includes both games and all the DLC. It includes all the DLC released for both games originally in Japan, and we're finally getting to play this Ace Attorney sub-series outside of Japan, and I'm so hyped for this. This is great.
Mm-hmm. That we've known about this thanks to the ransomware stuff, but to actually see it confirmed, actually see the gameplay, actually see all of this in action and get a release date. Thank God, I am so friggin' hyped for this.
And so much of like, you know, the series appeal in the West is seeing how they localize certain things, right? And as soon as I saw Herlock Sholmes,
I love it.
What a wonderful name.
Perfect.
What a wonderful name.
Yeah.
Loopholes.
Yep. I love it.
The cool thing is, if this does well, and this is my hope, if this does well, please give us Ace Attorney Investigations in Chronicles as well, so we can get that other game that never got localized here, and of course give us Trilogy 2, so we get 4, 5, and 6.
Right.
Get all the Ace Attorney games over here.
That's the one thing. Like, I'm so glad to have Great Ace Attorney now out of Japan. I love that. But I also really want 4, 5, and 6 to get off the 3DS, and in Ace Attorney 4's case, mobile. But my wife and I play the first 3 games together on WiiWare, the WiiWare versions, and she loves Ace Attorney. And we tried to play 4 together. It's not the same crowding around a 3DS. It's just not the same, or a DS. So I really, really want those games to come to a TV-friendly format like these are. But she's already, I told her today that it was happening, and she's already so excited to play these games.
Yeah, I think if we got, 1 through 6 all on Switch, the Battle Network series would do great. You guys are right. Capcom, get it done.
I like the way you think, man. Hell yeah.
When Amy was able to stream, she was working her way through the 5th case of the first Ace Attorney through the trilogy. So I'm like, you have plenty of Phoenix Wright stuff to play now to experience all this. So that works out well. I'm I think I'm so friggin' excited for this. But I did learn something, Ash, that makes this also kind of painful for both of us.
Okay.
I saw somewhere, I forgot to actually look this up, but I'm pretty sure it's true. This comes out the same day as Neo: The World Ends with You.
That's a shame. I will say
great.
that's worse for you than for me, because I like
that's
The
right.
World
You're
Ends
not
with
into
You.
World.
I like it, but you love it, and I'm okay waiting on that in favor of Ace Attorney. Like, but I definitely get why that's painful for you.
I see, that makes me upset because that means I can't review this. I have to give it
Right.
I have to give Great Ace Attorney to you while I'll take Neo, which is fine because I want Neo if we can get it early. But yeah, it's like, dang it, can't get both.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
so
that's true.
Real quick. We have one more story left, but a lot of folks asking in the chat, why are we publishing a new video right now? I told you guys 47 minutes ago that you would understand the meaning of my shirt, and that 54 minutes ago at this point. We tend to talk here. The embargo just lifted for previews of Returnal, so in line with that, we have the first 30 minutes of the game posted right now on GVG for you to enjoy.
Nice.
Hell yeah!
After this show, though, just wait until we're done. Returnal, real quick, just it is fucking amazing. Really, really,
which
Which is really
really
great to hear.
That's
Yeah.
good to hear. Yeah.
really praising it. I was like, huh.
Yeah, I went in. So Sony reached out to me yesterday and sent over a copy of Returnal. Thank you, Sony. And they had sent over the embargo, and they said, hey, you can stream as soon as the embargo lifts. You can stream, which it's very rare to be allowed to stream a game like right after getting it. So I was like, oh man, I can stream 30 minutes. That's awesome. And then I realized it was right in the middle of TNT. So I was like, oh man, I should just play it now. And it was damn near impossible to play it for only 30 minutes. I did not want to stop. So we will have a full review on the channel later in just about a week is what I can say. I can't give the exact date, but coming soon. So we'll have full thoughts on that, but it's an excellent game. Probably, in my opinion, the best roguelike I've played so far.
Wow.
Which is interesting because, obviously you tried out Hades, but you were a little cold on Hades.
Yeah, I think that this has a lot of the things I liked about Hades while fixing a lot of the problems I had with Hades. Because Hades, first off, I found zero fault with its combat and controls. It was fast, super responsive, had that kind of one more room quality to it that I think was really good. But I didn't really love the delivery of the story in Hades. It just didn't grab me in a way that kept me wanting to play. And I do think Hades did a pretty darn good job of weaving death into the narrative, but I think Returnal takes it to a whole other level. I think it just blows Hades out of the water.
Very nice.
I gotta see this. I gotta see this.
I'm looking for it. Yeah.
I'm going to be reaching out to PlayStation and seeing if we can get another copy or two of the game, because I feel like you guys have to play this and we have to talk about it, because I think it's going to catch a lot of people by surprise how good it is.
That's great, because I was looking forward to it and interested until I heard it was a roguelite, and then I was like, I still think it looks cool, but I'm not quite sure. But to hear your glowing praise of it, Steve, I feel like I need to play this. And you said the adaptive triggers or the adaptive triggers support's great, which is I love that.
It is another game that makes excellent use of the DualSense.
That's great.
Doesn't it also come out right around Resident Evil 8?
That's a good question.
I think it does.
I believe it does.
Resident Evil 8 actually comes out a day before my birthday, so that'll be
nice.
A nice little present.
Yeah, no kidding.
Going back to Ace Attorney for a second, Classy Mudkip in the chat said, wasn't Trilogy 2 leaked too? And yes, I believe that a trilogy containing 4, 5, and 6 was potentially part of the Capcom Giga Leak, if I remember correctly. Derek, do you remember the same that I do?
Can't remember. It might be familiar, but I can't remember for the life of me. Okay, right. Returnal comes out a week before Village. Sorry.
Oh, no.
It comes out the same time as new Pokemon Snap, so there you go.
Going back to Night in the Evernight Studio says that July stacked with Skyward Sword and stuff. This whole year is amazing for gaming. Yeah. Like, we got Pokemon Snap and NieR Replicant coming up. We got Resident Evil 8 in May. We've got Final Fantasy 7 Intergrade coming after that. We got Scarlet Nexus coming out after that.
Oh, Scarlet Nexus.
So many.
got the Mario Golf. We got Kina.
Right.
No more Heroes 3.
No
we
more
have
Heroes
no
3.
more Heroes 3.
Horizon Forbidden West. At some
Yeah.
point, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
We are living in a
there's
world
so much
where I will get to replay Skyward Sword, and then as soon as I'm done with it, play No More Heroes 3. That is almost a perfect combo. If you swapped out, the only way it could get better for me personally is if you swapped out Skyward Sword with Breath of the Wild 2. Then I might just have to just quit gaming after that. I'd be like, it got too good, I'm out.
It got too good. I
We
can't.
also-
Speaking of Persona, thanks to Classy Mudkip, Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne HD
Yeah.
coming out soon.
And on the beat 'em up front, we can't forget about TMNT Shredder's Revenge and Streets of Rage 4's DLC.
Oh, my heart.
And we got
And-
2 more Smash characters coming.
And we got a new 14 expansion coming out. We got
right.
PSO2 New Genesis coming
Yeah.
out. Like,
This is an
there's so much
embarrassment
going
of
on.
riches.
Yeah.
folks.
Hell yeah.
This
All
is the
right.
year I choose to get into an MMO.
Yeah.
Also,
not a crap.
Skull Kid Tiger, Vash, in response to your fantastic statement, Skull Kid Tiger said, if Battle Network comes to Switch, anyone down for a LAN party?
No.
I love that. Thank you for that, Skull Kid Tiger.
In the context of that universe, that sounds disgusting and terrible.
That's a good point. Good point, actually.
No.
It's- yeah.
In the context of that universe, if you just say Jack in any context, you're just not gonna have a good time.
Jack into the squirrel. Yeah.
Jack into the squirrel.
Yeah.
Famicom Detective Club. I'm interested in that. I'm actually legit excited. Finding time for it's going to be hard, but I am interested
Yes.
in Famicom.
Famicom Detective Club, I'm deeply interested to talk more about. I
Same.
think it has a lot of potential. So we'll see. Maybe we'll talk more about that soon.
Hold you over until Ace Attorney.
Yeah. Exactly. Kind of a stopgap. Anyway, speaking of Nintendo properties, let's move on to our final story of the night. And I'll be honest, I don't know what this is. There's a Pokemon fossil museum. All right. I've
I'm
not
not sure
gotten
what
to
we
look at
decided to
this.
do on this story because it's just sort of like a whatever thing. But
You guys aren't lining up?
You know, if
I mean,
I'm
if
going
I was in Japan right now, I'd go.
Yeah.
I'll go for sure.
if I'm going to Japan to see a Nintendo-related physical attraction, it's not this.
This ain't it.
This ain't it, Chief.
Uh-huh.
You got the wrong
I think
one. I'm
it's-
going to Super Nintendo World and eating all the food.
Well, I mean, if you have to choose, yes. But if you can do both, I think
Yes.
this is kind of cool. So it's going to
this
be
is
at the
really-
Mikasa City Museum from July 4th to September 20th, and it's going to show like the real life dinosaur fossils that fossil Pokemon are based on. And I guess it'll have like, real life replicas of the fossil Pokemon to like compare and contrast. I think this is really neat.
Mhm.
No, I think it's cool.
They have highlights in here. Like they actually compared. I'm blanking on his name. The T-Rex Pokemon. It's been a while since I had him. But they actually,
Agumon.
yes, exactly. They actually have like a skeletal frame showing off his skeletal frame, and then put it next to an
they're
actual T-Rex.
QB
Tyrantrum,
no Yoko
thank you.
Gaming. Yeah.
Tyrantrum. Yeah, okay, Tyrantrum.
Oh, damn, I was wrong. Bummer.
But comparing it to an actual T-Rex and like showing the skeletal structure, which is kind of funny because I think that we don't usually see the skeletal structure of Pokemon. Like I'd be highly curious about Electrodes or
Yeah.
Diglets.
Yeah.
Electro?
I know.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Diglets. Please tell us it's not a muscular man underneath all that.
I love this because in the description on the website, they call fossil Pokemon. This is obviously translated from Japanese, Kaseki Pokemon. And so if you keep reading, this is so on brand for Pokemon. This says, let's take a closer look at the fossils of each world by visiting the exhibits with Dr. Kaseki, aka Dr. Fossil. Pokemon has just the simplest, most ridiculous, straightforward naming schema sometimes. Of course, Dr. Fossil is going to teach you about fossil Pokemon. Who else would, right?
Just
Who else would?
fossilized trees.
He was
Yeah.
born for this.
And I guess you have Excavation Pikachu to help with the learning process as well. I think this is pretty cool.
With his friend Captain Toad.
yeah,
They're both there.
yeah,
Yeah, I do like this. I think that it's kind of a cool thing. I think little kids would be way more into it than someone my age, but I appreciate
Right.
it for what it is. I think it's
This is for the kids who are really into dinosaurs at that age. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
we
my-
all saw Jurassic Park. We were down.
my son would be all over this. Are you kidding me?
Land
He
Before
Yeah.
Time was there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Land Before Time too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Land Before Time. Aren't they on like my dad works on those series and he'll tell me every like several
they're on-
months or so. He's like, "Oh, I'm working on I'm Spike again in Land Before Time." I'm like, "They're on Land Before." I think they're so far in that they've stopped numbering them. I think they stopped numbering them at like 13. And now they're on like 15 or something.
It's just the meteor keeps passing by. Like they see it in every episode, but they're
yeah. And like, at what point does it become the land after time?
That's when it goes. That's when it goes into Ice Age, and then that takes over. It's like a crossover episode.
Oh yeah,
right.
Instead of like a number at the end, I just want them to add another "the land before" for each sequel, like the land before, the land before, the land before time.
Land before time.
Yeah.
The land before that last one.
For this show, I kind of wish they had the new fossil Pokemon from Sword and Shield, because they're based on the mismatched, like completely wrong Pokemon, like skeletal frames getting put together. So they're sort of abomination.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I wonder, do we think that history is going to smile favorably on Sword and Shield? I feel like they are probably some of the, like, I don't hear a lot of love for those two games.
They play fine, but the story is kind of bleh. The characters kind of...
Right, I played through the story, which is mostly the extent of my involvement with Pokemon. I was just like, man, this is one of the worst ones in terms of the narrative.
The story was really good if you were Leon, because you got to see it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
like the back half of that game.
Sword Shield story.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, you're doing your little your Pokemon thing. Okay, we're gonna go save the day. You keep doing your Pokemon thing, and we'll see you later. That's literally what happens. Like 50 times.
Being a Pokemon game with responsible adults that don't let the kids do the dangerous things.
It's so weird to me because they make the actual Pokemon battles, like the gym battles, these huge grandiose events, which I love because I mean, if a country or a world was obsessed enough with Pokemon to let like 12-year-olds just leave their houses and roam the world in search of opponents, which just seems wrong, then they better be
and take their money
this shit,
and take their money when they win.
Exactly. Like, hey, Mom, I'm going to go make animals fight, and then I'm going to take money from the loser. Like, okay, dear, have fun. I'll see you whenever you return home. Like, don't write, don't call, because I don't care. I mean, it just seems like a weird world to live in. But, I mean, when they put the battles in stadiums, I was like, this makes so much sense in the context of how popular Pokemon battles seem to be in all the previous games. But then, they're like, They tease you with this grand thing that's happening outside of all this, and it makes those huge battles seem so small in scale in comparison. You finally get battles that feel appropriate, and then they're like, yeah, but also there's giant Pokemon, and don't worry, the guy whose ass you're going to kick at the end of the game is just going to deal with that for you. You're literally never going to see it. And it's
Sword
funny
and Shield,
because that was the most exciting possibility. I was like, damn, I get to go and deal with these Gigantamax Pokemon all over the place and put them down and be a real hero. And they're like, nah.
Yeah.
Leon did that.
Leon did it.
Yeah.
I haven't played Sword and Shield myself. I played the demo. I just haven't had time to play through the story, which, like you, Steve, is pretty much all I usually do with Pokemon. But just, watching the reactions to it and how people feel about it, I feel as though the needle has moved slightly back toward the favorable side since the Dexit stuff all kind of died down. I feel like with people taking Sword and Shield for what it is outside of the Dexit stuff, it seems to be fairly okay in terms of people like it, but I don't often
still have those people who are still bitter about those things, but
which that's always going to be the case. But
I mean, I legit love, and I know this is not a popular choice exactly, but I love Sun and Moon. I think Sun and Moon is fantastic. I still prefer it over Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. People think it's a little too hand-holdy, too linear. You got constantly getting railroaded in that, which I get. Makes replays a little bit, but in the moment, that first time is really cool to explore all those islands, get that, have a really in-depth, a character that kind of evolves through you with you through Lily. It's more Lily's game than it is yours, and I love that. I think that's more interesting. And in the same way, we have cover Pokemon that we care about. That's rare. That does not happen.
Yeah,
that is really cool. And probably the most evil villain in this series.
Yeah, there's a lot that I really like.
Yeah, Sun and Moon did.
In Sun and Moon. And Sun and Moon also, it has to be said, Sun and Moon has Team Skull, which...
and that. They got a really fun
Skull, my favorite evil team ever. Evil team.
Oh, wait, no. Yeah, they're all right.
It's just the way they move, man. It's the way they move and their music. They're such posers.
I'm a huge Jet Set Radio fan, so any chance I can get at some punks doing stuff. Yep.
Yeah. And they're such wannabes too, right? They're not dangerous, and that's what.
Yeah, they're just kind of
they're such posers. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Team Skull was pretty funny. I like Sun and Moon probably more than Sword and Shield. Sun and Moon were actually, I agree with you, Derek. They were great. I enjoyed the hell out of those. Those were the first ones that I sat down and just played through for no reason other than that I was enjoying them in a long time.
I honestly
good.
think
Go ahead.
top 3 gens is 5, 7, and 2. I think in that order.
Gen 2 is so good.
Mine are 3, 5, and 6. I'm one of the very few 6 fans out there.
I would probably agree with Derek on 5, 7, and 2, honestly.
Yeah.
The only ones I missed out on was Black and White 1 and 2. I want to play them so bad.
Black and White's great.
That's so good. It was so novel at the time, especially because I was so tired of running into Zubats and crap, to have a completely new Pokemon to run into.
Yeah, if I have a spare 150 lying around, I'll buy one. But I can't buy a copy of Black and White 1 or 2 without paying out the wazoo. So
yeah, to that point, unfortunately, Pokemon does not go down in price.
Classy Mudkip with a really interesting take that I agree with. They say they watched Kill la Kill recently, and Lucamine is just PG-ified Raggio. That's actually really true. That's a great comparison. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, Joe. Well, I think with that, we've covered pretty much all the news for today and probably got off on a few tangents here and there and everywhere.
It happens.
But, you know, hey, that's what happens here. So before we go, obviously, Vash, we know we can find you in our Discord, in our community, in our audience sometimes. But aside from that, you stream and create your own content. So where can the GV gang find you if they're not looking for you right here?
Super easy. Barely an inconvenience. If you guys get that reference, go ahead. But what was it? I just twitch.tv/Vash. I nailed and got the name. Just Vash. No numbers, no nothing. Just
awesome.
Twitch.tv/Vash. It's actually a funny story that I'll tell you if you tune in my stream tomorrow for Replicant.
I like that. I like that. Good hustling.
But besides that, I mean,
Friday, not Thursday.
Is it 22nd? No, 22nd, maybe.
I thought the 23rd, but I could be wrong.
Could also
maybe
be the 22nd at 9 p.m. or something, right?
Yeah,
that's true.
Game's gonna unlock when they unlock.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, besides that, I mean, you guys know me because I'm the shadow of my brother Broly Legs. But yeah, just you can find me at his channel, just hanging out, playing fighting games over there, or just twitch.tv/Vash. I also have a YouTube channel that's linked in my Twitch channel. So we're actually doing a discussion I've been watching Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I watch it right when it launches at 2 a.m. Central Time, my time, and then I get together with 2 friends and we talk about the episode. So the finale's happening tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I know it's super late, 3 a.m. basically, but if you want to hang out and just listen to us talk, we can do that too.
I might have to duck in if I'm able to, because if I can, I like to watch it as soon as it drops as well. I'm super into it. So same thing with WandaVision.
I don't have to worry about its spoilers as much as I did with WandaVision.
Yeah,
right.
It's just memes now. All the memes come out after the episode on Twitter.
Either way, make sure you head over to Vash's Twitch channel, watch NieR with him, and hell, if you're up at that hour, watch his reactions to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'll be asleep, but if you're not, head on over there, check it out.
I appreciate you guys bringing me on. That was awesome, and I look forward to seeing more content from you guys. You guys have been killing it, and I really do appreciate the PS1 and PS2 lists that you all made for I mean, now we don't have to worry about it too much, but it's gonna happen one day probably. But
right,
I did go out and buy a bunch of games.
When I get the time, I think I'm going to do a PSP list, since that is actually still closing, so I'll end off the series with that. So.
It's a really good series to do with even now that Sony's reverted that whole thing. It's such a great conversation piece, because at my stream I really don't care about like backseat gaming and like people coming in and telling me what to do. I don't care about that at all. I care about spoilers, but if you want to come in and you're a pro at Persona 3, please let me know. I got to take a right instead of a left. I don't care.
Trust me, I needed that. I got my ass kicked, but whatever.
Yeah, but I just got finished doing a Batman marathon. I played all the Batman Arkham games, even the dreadful PSP Vita one. It's awful. But I'm doing a full platinum playthrough of the Kingdom Hearts series. I'm doing a full platinum playthrough of the Tales series. So if you want to get into Tales series, I'm playing all of them, and I'm actually doing a viewer share play. If you want to help me platinum Tales of Vesperia on PlayStation 4, you can do it. You can join my game and we'll play through that. It's pretty fun.
It's a great idea. I love that.
Awesome. So
that's awesome.
check all of that out. There's a lot going on there. Check it all out if you can. But before we go, we have to give a thank you to all of our patrons, no matter what level you're at, including those brand new ones that just joined during the show. Haven't had numbers like that popping up in a while. But we have to give a special thank you to our patrons at the producer tier for helping to make this show happen. Y'all know who you are. We love you very much, and we appreciate all of your support. And of course, as always...
Sorry, really quick, Steve.
I'm
really
sorry.
quick before you finish. I see a couple of people requesting in the chat that I do the Zemo dance for Shake That Ash today. So I'm going to do my best. I don't promise anything that it'll be good, but I'm going to do my best. All right.
Yeah, with Turkish
all right.
Delight. Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is, so I guess I'm going to find out. All right, so an extra special thank you to our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And those fine folks include Jared Edinger, Brandon Bovia, Rob Rman X, Itiono Ben, Dan and Twistle, Dennis J, Z Patty, Hyrule Hermit, Sky Blue Flames, Adam O'Sullivan, It's ATM, Octopuppet, Richard Herrera, Michael Phone, Floating Mew, Aiko Carroll, Christopher, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Waffle King, Nick Waterman, Kitty Kong Facts, Angel Martinez, Vedran Hotik, Macalau, John, Joshua Hunter, Evernight Studio, Benny Yao, Azran127, Ken Roulette 09, Jake Pelka, Geller, Joseph Rutkin, Titus Malvolio, Charlie Bird, Lucky Wonderfish, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Douglas Chomix, Andrew Medeiros, Orem M, Patrick Harrison, Becca, Rocks the Cat, Fizzywig Hoyd, Flaming Highwayman, Sean Garrett, The Legend of Groose, Eddie B, Kai Ed, Kit Fisto, West Egg, Masterlinks, Sean Davis, Deaneth, Jackson Jordan, Michael McCaw, Matthew Wong, Ashish Joshi, Goron Amber, Straight Lace, Hoobie, WolfX Blake and Moon Macarons, Kane, Captain Finlandia, 60 Minutes and 60 Seconds, The Game Orb, Dano the Artist, Synchrolord, Brainchild, My Mom, Hi Mom, Kotar Peck, Scuff196, AJB Cool, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Phantom Project, Wheezy Penguin Jr., Anthony Wilson Jr., Geeky Griffin, and Alessia, our brand new EPs. Welcome to the EP squad, my friends. Woo! And remember that you too can become a patron over at patreon.com/gvgaming, where you can watch our exclusive post-show live for as little as $5 a month. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Good Vibes Gaming for more good times like these. And until next time, good night and good vibes.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, everybody.